Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Cover to Cover. You're here with Mo,
Andrea,
and Morgan.
Today, we want to talk about Harry Potter conventions, Malala Yousafzai's next step, nonfiction books for the fiction lover, and shade thrown by authors. But first, we want to be critical of ourselves and where we belong at Hogwarts.
it's true that we all have different personalities types, and there are some tests out there that help us quantify what kind of person we are on a spectrum, like the Myers-Briggs test. But there are also tests like Hogwarts sorting quizzes that tell you what kind of house you would belong in. So, do your results align?
So we recently read an article by Britton Coe that matches up Myers-Briggs with personality houses. So, guys, what are you?
So, okay, I'm going to just blindly accept what this article says.
Okay.
It's one article among many. So my Myers-Briggs personality is ENFJ, which I felt like when I took this test recently was pretty close to the way that I operate and I feel. And they said that that puts me in the Slytherin house, which I was not happy about, you guys.
Aww.
But I do have perhaps Slytherin tendencies, so I'm going to take this even though I know my heart lies in Gryffindor. What about you guys?
So I know this is like the trending article that's sorting people, but I got two different results on two different articles. But this trending one, I was a Hufflepuff.
Okay.
And I have become, by the sorting hat, I was also a Hufflepuff. So
Yeah.
I'm an ENFP, so that put me in Hufflepuff along with people like Martin Luther King Jr. and Michael Jackson, so I'm totally cool with it. But on another website, I got Ravenclaw. Which is interesting.
I could see you being like definitely a hybrid of those two houses.
I'm a hybrid.
Yeah.
What were you, Morgan?
I'm an INTJ, so it put me as a Ravenclaw. And so I like to say that it matches up pretty good.
I think so. I think so.
Other people who are Ravenclaws are Condoleezza Rice, Michael Jordan, I think Obama is, so I feel
You're
pretty
good,
good.
Brittany.
Yeah.
So, like Andrea said, this is the trending article right now, but of course there are other ones. So I found this really fun article that just listed what character from Harry Potter you were. So I wrote down ours, you guys. I am Dumbledore. The teacher is like my affirmation. So I think that's okay. Morgan, you were Draco Malfoy, which is like not the best, but your category is the strategist, which I think does fit you. You're definitely the person around here and probably in life that's always organizing people and keeping everything together. So that's great. And then Andrea, you were Ron Weasley, the champion, which I think is great for your personality too, because you're definitely the one that gets us hyped up and keeps us pumped. So I think that we all kind of work really well together. So no matter what Slytherin you are or not, this is a really good quiz and you guys should check it out.
Well, we'll put a link to that in the comment sections at the end of the show. And also there's lots of places for you to go take a Myers-Briggs test for free and read up on it. So I strongly encourage you to do so. And let us know, where do you line? What house are you in? And do you think it matches with your personality? We'll love to hear from you.
Yeah. And Potterheads will continue to have an unrelenting supply of things like this and conventions and celebrations that are just catered directly to them. But we still wanted to let you know about one new one that is launching soon.
Potterverse Con will be hosted for the first time in Baltimore, Maryland, September 8th through the 10th. If you are in the area, be sure to get your tickets while they're still available for meet and greets with actors such as Natalia Tena, who plays Nymphadora Tonks, and others, as well as crafts, panels, and memorabilia, and of course, other exciting Potter-centric activities.
I think this is so fun. If I lived in an area where there was a Potter convention really close, I would definitely go.
You would probably camp outside for tickets.
I would be like, I can't come to work, I'm sick.
I just feel like the whole universe is just a Potter-centric, convention. I mean, everywhere you go, you can't escape Harry Potter. It is everywhere.
It is saturated, that's for sure.
So, true story, I have a friend from Iran, and I asked her when she read Harry Potter, because several weeks ago we talked about a spider that was found in the mountains.
Oh, yeah, the one.
Yeah.
Aragagi.
Yes. And I was just kind of shocked that these scientists in the Middle East named it after Harry Potter for like all different reasons. But your PhDs and you've read Harry Potter, like how much time do you have in your research to read Harry Potter? So she's brilliant. I went to grad school with her, and she told me about reading it, but she read it in Arabic, and now she needs to read it in English. And everyone across the world.
What she said, it's everywhere. It's saturated.
Everywhere. Crazy.
Yeah. And speaking of Hogwarts and Harry Potter, it's a fun game to try to sort other people into Hogwarts houses. For example, Malala Yousafzai is most definitely a Ravenclaw in my book. I mean, she might be a Gryffindor hybrid. I guess she's probably a Gryffindor.
Author and activist Malala is in the news again with her latest achievement. The 20-year-old will soon be starting her first year at Oxford University.
Oh, wow.
She was congratulated widely on her achievement, and among her fans is J.K. Rowling. Rowling tweeted her congrats along with the rest of the world.
Malala's book, I Am Malala, the girl who stood up for education and was shot by the Taliban, is a really inspirational book. And it reflects why this is such a huge achievement for her, right? She stood up for the rights for girls around the world to be educated, and she was condemned for it, and she had to suffer all of this horrible stuff. Yeah. And now she's rising up, and she's a great voice in the world, and she's going to Oxford. It's just really exciting.
I know, just to be that huge voice at only 20 years old.
Yeah. Do we know what she's studying?
Oh, I don't, but probably something activism, I would bet. And you guys know she's the youngest Nobel Prize winner. So she is a super winner, and we'll continue to follow her career.
Imagine if you're looking at who your roommate's going to be, and she's your roommate.
That's intimidating. You would really have to step your game up for sure.
Yeah, and I wonder what her next book will be.
I feel safe with her, though. I mean, she got shot in the face once. So I feel like she can take anything. Like, she's probably fearless.
I wonder if in her spare time, if she's like, I'm like the cool roommate. I'm not like this Nobel Prize winner, author, multi-millionaire, super, like, I'm just like a normal person. Like, that would be hard to be friends with her because you would constantly feel like a plebe.
Yeah, I bet it's a lot of pressure on her, too.
Yeah, but I guess she'll always have friends like J.K. Rowling, so who needs them?
Well, let us know in the comments if you read this book and what you think about it. But right now, we are going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll be sharing some more great news with you. So we'll see you in just a minute.
Well, we talk a lot about fiction books in the publishing world, but did you know that nonfiction is on the rise among adult readers?
It's true. Adult nonfiction is the #1 selling category of print books sold in the world, and more people are peppering in real life with their favorite fiction. Some more popular nonfiction books that have been in circulation over the last years are Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, The Diary of a Girl by Anne Frank, Orange is the New Black by Piper Kirkman, and among many other well-known stories. But we thought we'd give some recommendations. So many of you guys are checking out some nonfiction books. So ladies, what are some great recommendations that you have?
Great.
Right, okay. An awesome nonfiction read that reads like action-adventure fiction is Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer. This book chronicles one of the deadliest days on Mount Everest, how parties fell apart, how lives were lost, and it tries to tackle the confusion that was felt during the event. Furthermore, another person who survived the rogue storm, as they call it, wrote their own account of what happened that day, and it contradicts Krakauer's account, so it's pretty neat.
Oh, wow. Sounds like a great read.
It is.
Well, ladies, you are about to find out what nerd I am, but maybe it's because it matches with my Harry Potter house, Ravenclaw, the intellectual one. So anyway, I recommend the Freakonomics books.
Okay.
There's 4 of them. There's Freakonomics, there's Super Freakonomics, Think Like a Freak, and When to Rob a Bank.
Okay.
These are really funny stories and very entertaining, and this is like the only set of nonfiction books that when I'm reading them, I can't put them down. And it's also a subject I'm really interested in, so I highly recommend it. It's not boring. Like, each chapter is a little bit different, a different story, funny. It's really great and very interesting.
Interesting. So what got you to pick up these books?
Well, I studied economics in undergrad and in grad school, so that's part of it. Plus, there's a podcast called Freakonomics, and once you get into it, you understand it's not about like the economy, the way you think about things, but why things work and don't work and how to measure it, and you know, different programs. Have you ever wondered, like, well, does this really make an impact on people's lives? they dig into those things.
Nice.
And then also things like incentives. What was the result of when we put a law in place to wear seatbelts? Is it actually safer to wear a seatbelt? Like, that's one of the big questions they ask, because once there's a law to wear seatbelts, there's more car accidents, and there's more car fatalities because of it.
So it's a different way to look at statistics?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's using statistics or econometrics to really understand what's going on in the world when you implement a program or a law or put some incentive in place, like why people respond the way they do.
Interesting. I like that. So my recommendation, a big style of writing on the rise is journalistic or journal style writing. So I waited in line for 8 hours to receive my copy of Theft by Finding and meet the author, David Sedaris, at a book event, and I was there till like 3 a.m.
I remember that.
So yeah, this is like a great nonfiction book. He is in the nonfiction category, but there is some controversy on whether these accounts are real or real-ish, based on the fact that some of the accounts may be a bit exaggerated. But these books are a great read if you're looking for an entertaining nonfiction book.
I love that. David Sedaris has been one of my favorite authors since I was in high school. It's just something so special about the way he speaks.
So witty.
He is so witty, so funny, and like you said, every book is great. And he writes a lot of essays, which makes really good travel books if you can only read like a chapter here and there.
He's got to have an amazing memory, because I mean, his accounts as a little kid, I mean, he's talking about like what dress his mom was wearing and like what exact candy they were eating at Halloween and all of this great stuff. And a lot of different artists are doing the same thing, so they're coming up with autobiographies, and those are really interesting and funny if you're looking at artists like Amy Poehler or Tina Fey. Kevin Hart has a new one out. So those are a great way to get into nonfiction if you are kind of merging from the fiction world into nonfiction.
Funny autobiographies are a great thing to do. Yeah, like I love Tina Fey and Amy Poehler's books, and that's a super not boring fun thing to read. Yeah, very cool. Well, for the Tolkien fans out there, there's an all-new nonfiction book to help celebrate J.R.R. Tolkien's love for nature and lush foliage.
University of Florida botanist Walter Judd has written Flora of Middle-earth, Plants of J.R.R. Tolkien's Legendarium, which will explore the ecology, etymology, and importance of over 160 plants. He also explores real-life equivalents of some of the fantastical plants Tolkien created in his texts.
I think this is so special because, first of all, you guys know I love companion books.
And Tolkien.
So it's just like one extra way to have this real life connection to like one of your favorite fantasy series, because the plants are so integral, especially for the elves. So I think it's just fascinating to read about.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, let us know in the comments if you are excited to read this book or what other nonfiction recommendations you have. We'd love to hear. There's some that we've talked about here that I just forget that they're nonfiction, you know, because they're such good books and entertaining and stories. Not like some of the other stuff I read. Yeah, they're not always entertaining. I'm like, I gotta get through this because I want to be a better person, but they're just
such a Ravenclaw.
That's true. But they're just not as good and entertaining.
Yeah, so these are good for sure. And as you guys know, we love books in all genres here at Cover to Cover, and we feel that there's something out there for every kind of reader. But there's an author in the news right now who disagrees with that sentiment.
Author Philippa Gregory is in the news right now with some shade she has thrown at genre authors. In a recent interview with the New York Times, Gregory was asked if there were any genres she avoids reading, and her answer was loaded. She said, "Choosing to write a genre novel is like fencing the universe because you are afraid of space. Why does anyone write lazy, sloppy genre novels? The typing alone is exhausting. Surely, if you're going to undertake 150,000 words, you might as well have something to say." She also went on to pinpoint some of the genres that she had particular issues with, including mystery and crime and also romance and erotica. This sparked outrage from readers online.
Now, guys, people became particularly angry because Gregory is also known for writing books such as The Other Bowling Girl, The Taming of the Queen. The most recent one was The Last Tutor. And she herself is a genre writer. She writes historical fiction.
Yes, and furthermore, in that same interview, she cites her favorite author as Georgette Heyer, who is the mother of Regency romance, which is can I hear it? Another genre writer? So what's with all this hate, you guys? It seems that she writes genre fiction, she likes other genre fiction, but she has this particular need to say that she thinks it's worthless. I mean, her comments were like, ouch.
That was a lot of shade thrown.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe she had nothing else to say.
Oh.
You know how there's people, they have nothing to say, so all that spews out of them is just junk?
She's like, I have nothing to say, so I'm going to talk about people who have nothing to say.
There you go.
Maybe she had a particularly bad incident recently with perhaps a genre writer, and it kind of sparked this hate inside of her that she directed towards this interview.
That's a lot of hate. Like, that was a lot of, like, pent-up hate.
But it's so hard to understand because she's a genre writer, and, like, maybe she doesn't think of what she writes as genre writing. Like, she thinks that she's above that. But when you're writing historical fiction, you've confined yourself to a niche. Like, that is all she writes. That's what she does. And I like her stuff. I'm a fan.
Oh, so sad.
So maybe we need to challenge her to get out of her niche and do something different, because for every writer I've known or read about, they put a lot of time and research into what they're writing. So I recently read something about how when Nicholas Sparks tried to do thriller into his romance novels, it was really challenging for him. Some of them, he sent it to his publisher and they sent it back and they're like, no. And he had to work at it again. I mean, and it's freaking Nicholas Sparks. He's amazing. But it's hard to make that turn.
Right.
So it makes no sense to me. It's like telling someone who does oil paints to start using watercolors.
Yeah, if you're good at something, then why change? Like, if you're gonna go from basketball to baseball, we all know who I'm talking about. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry. Like, she's your hero, and
Well, she's definitely not my hero, and if she was, she's not anymore.
She is on your list.
Yeah, I mean, to be real, I'm still gonna like catch up on the other Bolin series. So like, I'm gonna read The Last Tutor, but I'm gonna be thinking about all these mean things that she said while I was reading it. So.
Well, all right. Tell us in the comments what you think about this and what you think about her shade. And don't forget to like or share this post for a free t-shirt. Send us a message with your size, your mailing address, and your preferred style. We have both V-neck and crew neck shirts.
Right, and thank you guys.
thank you for joining us today.
much.
Happy Wednesday.
We hope that you definitely have a great rest of the week, and we will, of course, be back on Friday at 12 p.m., 11 a.m.
Or 12 a.m.
We'll be here at midnight, so just like check us out. Thank you, and don't forget, keep reading, writing, and being awesome. We know we will. Bye.